You want it? You got it. Deion Sanders Jr. picks up a fumble, runs it in for a touchdown. Texas Tech, ball boy, out of line, or just doing his job? We're going to break that down for you today and more here on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. Folks, let's talk about it. You got Deion Sanders Jr. picks up an interception, runs it back. Not an interception, but a fumble. Runs it back into end zone and heads back over. And you got the Texas Tech ball boy, right? This is a Texas Tech ball boy. Decides he wants to touch a player, knock the ball out of the hands, retrieve the ball for Texas Tech. Now, the problem with that is you ran into something that you weren't prepared to run into, and that was Shiloh, right? So you get a situation here to where now you put the Sanders boys in protect mode, right? They have to switch gears and go right into the protection mode. Now, when you look at something like this, and you just happen to pick the wrong one, because when you look at Junior, man, he's played, right? He's been in the game. And when you get these guys up in the game, you got to understand something. They're not no coward. Like I said, Deion Sanders did not raise no chihuahuas, right? He raised grown men. And the game is, when you get on that field, you got to be ready for anything that could come your way, right? So that's what happened. But let's get into it a little bit because I wanted to back this thing up and really go over it because it's surprising to me because it all started where the quarterback was basically fumbled the ball. Ball comes out of his hands and basically it's get picked up and Sanders runs it in for a touchdown, right? That's the play. So when you get back to the media, all right, let me back up in that and let me kind of walk you through this. Because for me, I come out of the press box, and I've been in the press box, watched a lot of games, been down on the field coverage, after game coverage. So for me, it's no different, and I was blessed. I started out, got an opportunity to cover Aaron Rodgers on his Super Bowl run, right in there in the media, right. So let me back this story up and tell you exactly what happened, what should have happened, and how did you get to this point that all of a sudden you're saying the Sanders boys, which are doing their job, right? They're doing their job in NFL media, right? You got to understand with the media, right? The NFL in Colorado is the NFL. That's what you're doing, right? So the media is right there, right? But here's what happens with the media. I want everybody to understand. The media is chalked off, right? So when you go to an NFL game, they got lines where you can go, right? This is as far as you can extend. They got guys that got cameras in the end zone. They got a spy cam that's going to be up on the top, right? So you got these things that are going on, and the game has evolved to today, right? So when you look at Deion Sanders, okay, and what was he doing? He's doing his job. That's part of the media. That's what you do as the media. Deion has told you time and time again. My son, okay, has taken over this as the media for us, right? So Prime is like, really, I'm keeping it all in-house. I could do the commercials. I could actually do the media. I mean, I can take this from end to end, okay, vertically integrated. And so really, you got Junior just doing his job, right? There is no doubt about it. That's what he's supposed to do. Okay, now let's get back to the Texas Tech ball boy, right? Because here's the deal that happened with the Texas Tech ball boy. This one gets a little special right here because you got Texas Tech ball boy wants to come in there and knock the ball out of somebody's hands, right? And you can see the fire he got back. And then when he finally got in there, Junior is like, man, you got me messed up. Now, the language and everything, folks, let me explain this too. When you get in the NFL, you cannot mic up players in the NFL. The language is too intense, right? They're out there cussing each other out left, right, left, talking about wives, talking about all kind of stuff, right? Now you get Junior, who's a running back, right? I showed you that, right? So he what happened to Texas Tech boy picked the wrong one, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna put it to you as simple as it ever can be put. And when you got brothers or family members that are on football are eventually going to go in the NFL, right? Because this thing here got to the point where things do happen. Now, I'm gonna tell you Howie Long, right? You got Howie Long, and I always use Howie Long because this is gonna happen. You got one brother plays for the Bears, you got another brother plays for the Rams, right? So they're out there on the field and they getting it in, right? They are getting it in, they fighting. Okay, you got the Rams and the Bears, okay, who are actually in a serious melee, right? It's getting ready to go down. But then you got Howie Long has always told you if any of my sons, you see them in a fight, one of your brothers, you better immediately go jump in. This is Howie. This is the way he raised his boy because he didn't raise no chihuahuas. These are grown men and they pit bulls, right? So you get a situation like this with Howie, and you got to understand this is not a game. This is as real as it gets. Now in the NFL, what a lot of people have to realize in the NFL, okay, and you get even to back to Sanders, or you get to the level of playing pro ball. Here's what you got to understand: a fight can break out at any time. Fight can break out at any time. There's no doubt about it, right? So here's the other thing that concerned me on this play. You got the Texas Tech ball boy on the Colorado sideline. That one there got a little quirky for me because his job, okay, is to just be the ball boy, not to go get the ball, right? You got to be the ball boy. So when you look at Sanders and he's doing the media, right? You look at this shot here. I want to show you this. How he's coming into the play because he's doing the media on the play. That's where he's at, right? So you got that situation going right there, and he goes in the end zone, he scores, right? So he's walking back to the sideline. He's got the trophy in his hands, right? There's no doubt about it. He's going back. He's got the trophy in his hand. Everything looks good, right? There ain't no problem there. Now, when the play continues, I want to break this down for you. Now he's going back to his sideline. There's no problems. Nobody's got no issues. Nobody got nothing to be upset about, right? Everybody's going to the sideline. He's got the pick. He's taking the ball. Now, here's where it kind of flips out, right? Because now you're sitting there and the Texas Tech boy goes to swipe it out of his hands, right? Now you got no business doing that at all, really, because anytime you're not a coach, first of all, you're not a coach for Texas Tech, and you're not a player for Texas Tech, right? So you got to understand that you're not a coach and you're not a player. So you should never, ever touch a player, ever touch a player at all. Even the opposing coach, Woody Hayes, was fired, legendary, touching another player. You don't touch anybody on the player. The only people that touch each other during a football game are the players. The player, and occasionally you'll see coaches get into it. But at the end of the day, nobody should be touching a player. Well, that happened, right? And I know why he did it. Okay, here's the flip side of it, folks, and this is the truth of the matter. I'll take you on the inside of this deal, right? Quarterbacks that on the opposing team, you go back to Brady Deflategate, right? Every ball that they put out or every ball that gets made, it has a different feel to it. You'll even see it in Major League Baseball, right? Where the umpire throw the pitcher a ball, pitcher picks the ball up, feels it in his hand, throws it back to the umpire, give me another ball, right? So the Texas Tech ball boy clearly understand that the Texas Tech quarterback has picked out those balls, right? And in college, it's a little different because sometimes you can kick a field goal in the stands, and kickers are the same way. They want to use the same ball. Punters find the ball. They'll keep that same ball and kick the entire year with the same ball, right? Punters and kickers. Because the ball, every ball they make, the laces are different. So I get what he wanted to do. He just went about it in the wrong way, or he just got a little too excited and thought he had a little bit more power, and then he ran into the Sanders boys, right? So that's what happened. And you got a young man here. Like I said, Deion, they raised no chihuahuas, right? You got a pit bulls that he's got out there. These are Rottweilers, right? So if you gonna jump on my brother, just like Howie Long, then I'm gonna jump on you, right? And don't get it confused. And this happens a lot, folks. This is a lot. I don't care if you went to University of Miami. You talk about Michael Irvin, those boys. Don't do it. Don't be an imposing on our sideline. And that's the worst thing can happen for any player. And any player in the NFL knows, don't go over their sideline and get into it on the opposite sideline. Well, what does Texas Tech ball boy do? You're on the Colorado sideline trying to dictate what Colorado's going to do. That's not your job. If you don't get a ball back, what you're supposed to do is go to the official. You let the official know I did not get my ball back. And when I didn't get my ball back, now the official will go over to the sideline and say, we need that football. That's the way it's supposed to. You can't police the game as a Texas Tech ball boy. This is a job where there was favoritism hand given to you. You better be lucky you have it. I don't even know if you should still have it because really Colorado Buffaloes should be protesting on this and really telling them, look, you know what? We don't like that kind of behavior. He touched a player. You don't touch a player, period. Right? And I hear all kind of people talking about one, Coach JB talking about gang banging, all this other kind of stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with it. And Coach JB, you know what I tell you about Coach JB that really gets for you a quarterback, man. You know you got 3 or 4 balls that you love, right? Because as a quarterback, every ball's different. That's why Brady and they had the deflate gate because there were balls that he picked out, Tom Brady. He told him how much air he wants in these balls. Now, Tom's not stupid, right? So Tom's filling the air and knowing where I want that ball to be and how I want that ball to feel. But it goes deeper than that. I'm going to take you back even further, right? Because you got beast mode. Marshawn Lynch, right? This is what happens when you get into it. Because in the NFL players know, and all these boys going to the NFL, a fight can break out at any minute. It can break out. It's part of it. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you better, every player in the NFL, stay ready. And even myself playing in college, you got to stay ready as a DB because it could break out. And when it does, you better be ready for it, right? So what did Marshawn Lynch do? Marshawn Lynch was playing for the Raiders. The Raiders playing Kansas City. His cousin, all right, his cousin, his uncle's son, right, Marcus Peters, went out there and was getting in a fight with the Raiders, right? And they were going to thump on him. What did Marshawn Lynch do? Right? You got to understand, Beast Mode ran on the field and was ready to get down with the Chiefs players, and you're not going to sit here and thump on my cousin. That's not going to happen, right? And at the end of the day, they got a flag. The officials had to hold it back. Everybody's like, what is Marshawn Lynch doing? They jumping on my cousin. So when you get back to the Sanders, now, here's when you get to the Sanders. Deion was very clear, okay? He said, and he was clear about his boys, right? He said, look, here's the deal. Shiloh, Deion Jr., they built different, right? Shador, he was like, yeah, Shador walked me to the 50-yard line. But he said straight up, I'm going to tell you straight up, man, Shador ain't built like that, right? He's a quarterback. He ain't built like that. But he was honest. He said, but my other 2 boys, man, you don't want to do that because you catch them, go mess with Pop on the sideline, you about to get something you're not looking for. Now, this is Colorado, right? Because it's us against the world. It's always been that, and everybody has talked and talked. And now the game that Deion has got so good at his game, right? Because he's gotten really good at this coaching game, figured it out, right? Here's how the narrative went from he can't coach. Now the narrative's changing. Well, the officials are helping him. Next thing you know, the narrative's going to be, well, the coaches are this and he's not doing. I mean, the narrative keeps going on, but at the end of the day, everywhere he's been, he's won. He's everywhere he's been, he's won. Doesn't matter if he played with the Yankees. Doesn't matter if he played with the Giants, right? Doesn't matter if he played with the Atlanta Braves, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, Deion, if he wanted to, he could have been on an Olympic team running in a 4x4 100, right? But at the end of the day, he took flack for everything he did in the NFL. He even got in an altercation with Jerry Rice, San Francisco, right? So everybody talks about this Dallas Cowboy job. Let me tell you something. You know what? If it all works out, and I'm not saying it is, everybody knows all good things must come to the end, right? Because that's what happened in Jackson State. But at the end of the day, the deal is Deion wants Shador to be for the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And you got to look at that, right? And Deion wants Shiloh on the Dallas Cowboys, right? And he knows Jerry Jones. So at the end of the day, does it really matter? Right, but you got to be cautious as a ball boy, right? Because a ball boy, you're a student, right? I hope you're not an employee because now you really lost your job, right? But as a student doing work study or additional work or whatever favoritism you're in the game, you collect balls. You don't go get balls. The only interaction a ball boy should have is with the official, right? Because the official, he's there to collect the balls. This is his job description. The Texas Tech ball boy is there to do 2 things. One, go collect the balls. See, he's got 2 or 3 in his hands. He's holding on to them. And 2, when the official signals to him that he wants a ball, that's when you interact with the game. Other than that, you have no interaction at all with this game, right? So basically, you got Texas Tech in violation, right? And the ball boy, now here's the deal. Colorado's got to say, hey, look, here they're going forward. We're going to have our own ball boys because we don't need the opposing person on the sideline, right? Because now the interception, I keep calling it interception. Quarterback fumbles the ball, gets picked up, run in. Now I got my trophy, right? I got my trophy. I got it, no problem. I got my trophy, right? Because every interception I had in college, I ain't giving you the ball back, right? I had a bunch of them, but I ain't giving you the ball back. And now in practice, man, I'd intercept quarterbacks in practice, and I go hand you the ball back. I know it's special to you, but at the end of the day, it don't matter, right? You still playing a football game, and you got to understand that the ball boy is completely out of line. And I'll tell you another situation, too. When the Philadelphia Eagles security guard got in there, he was out of line on the sideline. The Philadelphia security guard has no business putting his hands on a player in the NFL. In NCAA football, there is nobody, either a referee, it should only be the referee who can separate in a fight. An opposing coach should never put his hands on a player. The Texas Tech head coach cannot put his hands on a player on the opposing team and start fighting with that player. You're going to lose your job. That's why I say the Texas Tech ball boy, man, you might have to go out and work the ticket gate or something because right now you don't belong on the sideline. That's an issue. Because if you did it once, you'll do it again, right? So that's the rule of the deal. NFL media, I mean, come on, guys, we're chalked off. We are chalked off around the field. So when we're chalked off around the field, that tells us where we can and cannot go, right? Then you got NFL media has special assigned media individuals who are holding the cameras. They got the spy cam. They're getting different angles. They are allowed to be in that play once the touchdown is scored, right? So they're getting all that action. That's what makes the NFL good. So that's the story. In prime time, it's funny because you look at these guys and they're all running on the field and taking media, right? But that's how the game goes, folks. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I'll walk you down. Marshawn Lynch went ahead and said, ain't nobody going to mess with Marcus Peters. That's my man. NF officials, find me, do what you got to do. But the game is the game, right? You got Deion, Shador. Man, they're getting ready for something special playoff. So what I want to tell you, everybody got it wrong. Somebody got it right. Just like the Minnesota Vikings started off at 12,000 to 1. They better change that, Vegas. Somebody bet $100 on the Vikings to win the Super Bowl. Vikings win the Super Bowl, you get $12,000. Deion Sanders Jr. is part of the media. That's who he is. Okay, it's no different than the Colorado newspaper or anything else. Sports Illustrated, they are all going to get the story. That's what he does for Colorado. It is what it is, right? Prime is being prime. I am who I am, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And the Colorado football team is rising and cream rising to the top, right? And you got a dog here. I tell you, when you're messing with a dog, you better understand he ain't raised no chihuahuas. So when you get in there, you got to understand these guys in the NFL and the guys who play this game, you can see Junior runs the ball. So I'm going to tell you straight up, ain't nobody scared of nobody when it comes to playing this football, right? And then you got Big Howie Long. Man, oh man, Howie said, if you ever see your brother in the fight, you better jump in, or when you get home, I'm going to beat the living daylights out of you. And that's the game. That's what the NFL does. The media's everywhere. And there have been people like who have jumped out there, videographers, get their credentials pulled. Don't do it. Don't do it. Texas Tech just got his credential pulled. The Texas Tech ball boy. And always remember, the media is part of the game, folks. This is what they do. And they're going to be up close and in the action. And that's just the NFL. And they're good at what they do. And they're getting better and better. So when you need a shot like this, there's a cameraman standing right there. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. All things are possible to those who believe. In prime time, he's shining and he's rising to the top. Get ready, Buffalo football. It's your time.